Hi, I'm Beck. I'm a psychologist. It's time for some new artwork, and I'll be talking to you today about humility. Now, the importance of humility is scattered all through our mythology, all through our fairy tales. It's been obvious all along, and we all overlook it because it's such an underrated virtue. Now, if you think about all the fairy tales and the humble old crone who asks for help and the handsome prince ignores her and she turns out to be the glorious, wonderful princess, but she presented herself in humble appearance, yet she held that secret or held those amazing attributes. Now, this is what we've forgotten. And when I say that you can avoid confrontation with humility, I don't mean conflict avoidant techniques. I don't mean not speaking up for yourself. What I mean is when met with confrontation or when met with defensive attitude, to come with humility and softness is like meeting a boulder or something with water. You just move around it. And it allows for a flow and a fluidity that if you're clinging to opinions or clinging to ego, you don't have that same malleability to approach blockages. When you employ humility, it gives you a measure of non-confrontation and a measure of softness that then softens the other person. And so it's not manipulation, it's purely a way of life. And it's similar to the technique I've talked about is getting under the ego. Everything's paradoxical and backwards and upside down in our world. We think that by having power that puts us above people and over the top of people, when the truth is getting under people through dropping of those opinions is where the true power is, because your experience of life becomes very different. It becomes a lot softer. It becomes a lot more emotionally rich. And it gives you the ability to attune to other people's feelings or realities in a non getting sucked into way, just in an observer sort of way. And so, as you can see, I have decided to get some new artwork. And it's got nothing to do with any of the comments about gender or anything like that. It's just time for something new. But it got me thinking, there's so much defensiveness and confrontation around gender at the moment. And I wanted to give you some techniques or some tools to deal with some tough conversations that might elicit shame in you otherwise, might elicit shame in the other person. It might elicit defensiveness and strong opinions. And it's as simple as meeting it with humility. And humility isn't about making yourself meek and mild and getting under the person. Humility is about bowing down in a deep knowing and a deep understanding that we don't have all the answers, that our minds are not the be all and end all, and that we can't really grasp or cling to any opinions, because it's just as likely we turn around and find out they weren't true anyway. So what's the point? What a waste of energy clinging to an opinion and clinging to an ideal and clinging to a way of life that who says that's the right way of life? It's right until it's not, and that's fine. And when you've got that fluidity of humility to flow between ways of life and opinions, then nothing's wrong and nothing's right, and everything's okay. And it also allows, when it's not okay, when you really won't stand for it, it allows you to really ground down and come with a no that it's very difficult to meet with any resistance from the other party, because it's such a deep, soft no. But in that no, there is such strength. Now, some examples that I was thinking of earlier were in the gender conversation that I'll give you some examples about. Now, if you're someone that is non-binary and you don't identify with the traditional pronouns, and somebody gets the pronouns wrong, and whether it's out of purposely confrontational or just a mistake, if you can meet that mistake with humility, correct them. Correct them from a place of such deep knowing, such deep rooted sense of self that their mistake can't wobble you. This is how I identify. This is my pronoun. Thanks. There can be no confrontation to that. Now, if you are somebody who got the pronoun wrong and you're met with defensiveness and you're met with shame that you aren't correct, meet that with humility. And you can have your opinion. Nothing's wrong. Maybe your opinion is, I don't understand. I don't understand this new way of gender interpretation. I don't understand. And you can have your opinion in humility. And if you come to that opinion and present that opinion with humility, it allows that person to soften that's met with, and perhaps they can say, well, you know what, I understand that you don't understand, and perhaps we can sit down and we can have a conversation, and maybe at the end of the conversation you still won't understand. And that's something that I'll just accept and move on from, because that person's so deeply rooted in their sense of self that somebody not agreeing with them doesn't change them. It doesn't change how they identify. It doesn't matter. They're okay. And the person that doesn't agree doesn't have to leave with a sense of shame that they don't understand. They just don't understand. It's not personal. So humility is a real laying down of arms. And with that laying down of arms comes such soft strength. So have a practice about meeting some strong opinions, and that was just a controversial one that I chose, because why not just jump in the deep end? But you can meet any situation from a place of humility, and practice watching how it softens your interactions with people. Good luck.